to notice that there are inhales, air arriving in, and there are exhales, air leaving. That there is movement to those inhales, and there is movement associated with your exhales. Maybe you notice that there is sound. And maybe even you notice that the sound is slightly different when you breathe in versus when you breathe out. And then you might think about your inhales as expanding, of you taking some space. And your exhales about grounding in that space. You're beginning to have some agency over your breath, some intention. And you're looking for a steady rhythm of breath. A rhythm that is nourishing. Maybe even calming, that invites you to be present and aware. And a breath that has that balance between effort and ease that feels just right for you at this point. And then from here, bring the right knee in towards your chest. And give it a squeeze. Find some movement through your right ankle, your toes. And then bring your hands behind that right thigh as you straighten and bend through the right knee a few times. And then stay with the leg more straight and find some pointing of your toes away from you, so movement through your ankle, and then drawing the toes towards you, and a few times like that. Keep that back body well grounded, the sacrum, the back of your hips. And then pause that and release that right foot back down and bring the left knee into your chest and give it a squeeze. So movement through your ankle, your toes. And then your hands behind that left thigh as you extend and bend through the knee. Once again, remind that back body to stay down, well supported. And then the next time that the leg is more extended, point your toes away and draw them back towards you a few times like that. And then release. Bend that left knee and plant your left foot. Bring the heels of the feet a bit closer to your sit bones, more or less under your knees, and then hands by your side as you come into a bridge pose. Lifting your hips and then keeping your hips lifted. See if you can lift your right heel coming onto the ball of the right foot. And then lower it and then switch. Left heel lifts and lowers. And again, right, lower, and left, and lower. And now see if you can lift both heels onto the balls of the feet for a breath in. And then on your exhale, lower your heels and lower your hips all the way down. Right knee comes back into the chest. And then straighten the leg. Now from here, we're just going to lower and lift that right leg without using the hands. So your hands could be by your side, or you could bring them to your belly, lower rib area. You could do this with your toes pointing or your toes drawing towards you, but we're going to lower that leg straight to hover over the ground. And then at the same speed, we're going to lift it back up. And then again, we're going to lower. And we're going to lift and lower and lift. And then the next time that the leg is lowered, it's hovering over the mat. Now point your toes away from you and imagine that you were drawing a small circle with your big toe. So you're beginning to make some circles here with the leg, but they're not big circles. They're really small ones in one direction. And then in the other, the leg is hovering. And then when you're ready, bring that leg all the way up. Hands behind your thigh, give it a squeeze. Maybe walk your hands up the leg or, well, down the leg towards your ankle. And then you could stay here or you could curl up, forehead towards your knee. You could stay here or you could release the leg, reaching your fingers towards the top of the mat for a full breath in and a full breath out. And then release this, head down, foot down, and bring the left knee into your chest. Give it a squeeze, and then extend that leg. And then we'll do the same here. So try to do it without hands. So your hands again can rest on your lower ribs. And it's a way of making sure that your ribs and lower back are not lifting and lowering as you lift and lower your leg. So left leg is going to go down to hover with toes pointing or flexed and lift. And feel the work coming from the left hip. A few times. Slower, better than faster. A little bit more control over the movement. A little bit harder too. And then next time that your leg is hovering, so extend it out, begin to make those circles with, as if you were drawing them with your left big toe. Leg is still hovering, and do them in one direction. And then draw them in the opposite direction. And then pause the circles and lift that leg back up. Bring it as close to your torso as you can. And then bring your hands around shin or walk your hands towards your ankle. And then maybe staying here or curling up, forehead towards the knee. Keep the leg where it is. Maybe let it go with your hands. Reach forward. A full breath in. A full breath out. One more inhale. And on your exhale, releasing left foot lowers to the mat. Heel to toe, your feet wide. Knees are bent. Open your arms out into a T and drop your knees towards the left side. Get a good stretch through the left hip flexor, a squeeze, engagement through your left glute. And then bring your knees through center, let them touch, and then take them over towards the other side. Now your right front of hip, right hip flexor area will get a stretch. The right glute is going to engage. One more of each, center, to the right, and center, and to the left. And then as you inhale, come back through center, bring your feet closer together, and we're coming back into a bridge pose, arms by your side, and inhale, lift your hips. Same thing as before, you could do lifting one heel, lowering, then the other, lowering. Do that again, or both heels lift. Take a breath in. And then on your exhale, we'll all lower those hips down. All right. Bring the hands behind your thighs and then rock up into a seat. And then we're going to extend the legs. And we're going to do kind of similar movements to what we did on our backs, but we're going to do them from a seated position. So we're going to try and get your shoulders over your hips. And you could use your hands to encourage that. You could also sit on something. And then we're going to point the toes away from us. And we're going to try to lift that right leg for 1, lower, hovering, 2, hover, 3, hover, 4, hover, and 5. Lower all the way down. Try to keep your torso in the same position, and we'll do it with the left side. So same idea. Inhale, 1, lower, 2, lower, 3, lower. Feel that the work is coming from the hip, lower, and 5, and lower. Nice. We're going to do one more, but before that, try to release a little bit. So bend the knees, feet to the edges of the mat, your hands framing hips, and drop your knees towards the left, and then center, and towards the right. And then center, one more of each. And other side. And then come back through center. Again, feet come closer together, your legs extend. Try to get your shoulders over hips. And then this time, we're going to lift that right leg, just like we did before. We're going to hover it and then make those small circles. In one direction, and then in the other. Try to keep your chest broad, open, your spine lifted. And then release. Okay, careful with cramps. Sometimes here the quads, up here you'll get a little cramp, so kind of back off a bit. When you're ready, we'll do the left. So same idea, lifting that left leg and then finding those circles. Stay with your breath and then circling in the other direction a few times. And then release, bring them back to the ground. Bend the knees, plant the feet to the edges of the mat. Again, maybe frame the hips with your hands. Take a full breath in, really lengthen. And then on your exhale, knees to the left. And now your right hand is going to come over and you're going to take this into a twist. So you're turning towards the back of your mat. Right hip flexor area. See if you can find a lot of space there. Take a breath in. And out. And then we'll take that right hand over, coming back through center, and then knees over to the right, left hand comes over, rotate your torso, so it's like you're rotating away from your left leg, and that's going to give you that stretch through the front of that left hip. Take a breath in, and a breath out. As you inhale, return through center, heel to toe your feet in, and just for a moment, let the soles of the feet come together, let your knees go wide, and let those knees bounce a few times. Kind of not too much effort here, you're just kind of bouncing a little bit. All right, and then when you're done with that, we'll make our way up to stand. So you could cross ankles, you could try this, plant your feet, maybe with hands or without. You make your way up to stand. I'll meet you in mountain pose. And as you arrive, just take a moment to shift your weight forward and back on the soles of the feet. Maybe find a moment of balance on the balls of the feet, your heels lifted, and then return. Maybe you lift your toes, spread them out. And then find that grounded position. Give your shoulders a roll, bring them up by the ears and squeeze them in, and then soften them down the back as you turn your palms to face forward. On your inhale, sweep your arms up, palms might touch. And as you exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, come back through center. And exhale, side bend left. Do that again. Inhale, center. And to your right. And inhale, center. And to the left. On your inhale, come back through center, interlace fingers and palms towards the ceiling. Whole body stretch for a breath in. And then on your exhale, arms go wide and we fold over the legs. Inhale to find a halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale again, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And another one, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. On your inhale, bend your knees and rise into chair. Arms sweep forward and up. And as you exhale, bring hands to your heart. Inhale, lift your left heel onto the ball of the foot. Exhale, lower. Lift your right heel and lower. And again, left heel, lower, and right and lower. Both feet planted, straighten legs and arms, breath in. Exhale, left arm down, side bend. Back through center, inhale, over to the right, exhale. And back through center, inhale, folding forward, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale, fold, exhale. Two more. Inhale, half lift, fold, exhale. And another inhale. And forward fold, exhale. Return to chair pose, inhale. And bring hands to heart, exhale. This time, lift your right heel, come onto the tiptoes, and then see if the toes can leave the ground as that knee comes in towards your chest. And then return toes, heel to the ground, and switch left knee in towards chest. And then return, one more of each, right, return, and left. Return, both feet planted, push the floor away, straighten legs and arms, side bend to the right. Inhale back through center and exhale to the left. Inhale, center, forward fold, exhale. Half lift, inhale, fold, exhale. Two more, halfway lift, fold. And another. On your inhale, return to chair pose. And exhale, hands to heart. So we're adding on. Right heel lifts onto the toes. Draw the knee in. And now extend the leg behind you. As if you were coming into a warrior three, but don't. And then return the knee into your chest. And plant it back. And then try that with the other side. Left knee comes up. Extend the leg any amount behind you. Bring that knee back in. And return foot to the ground. Nice job. Extend legs and arms. Reach tall. Side bend left. Inhale back through center. Over to the right. Exhale. Inhale, center. Forward fold, exhale. We're adding in a down dog in the middle. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, plant your hands and take it to downward facing dog. A few breaths here, pushing the floor away, finding some movement through your legs if you'd like. Maybe there's an open mouth exhale. Maybe there's some release that can happen through your neck. One more breath here. And then with your next inhale, come out into plank pose. And on your exhale, return to downward facing dog. And again, inhale, come out into plank. Maybe a bend in your elbows. And then straighten and back into downward facing dog. And last one, inhale out into plank. Maybe a bend of elbows, straighten, and back into downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, walk your feet to your hands. And on your exhale, forward. Inhale, back into chair pose. And exhale, hands to your heart. All right, we're coming back to that balancey work. We're going to add on. So now on your inhale, your left heel lifts, you're on the tiptoes, the knee draws in. And now you are taking it into a warrior three. So you're sending your left leg back, straightening through your right, and you're leaning your torso forward. Your hands could stay at your chest. And then return back to that one leg chair, and then left foot plants. Okay. And then we'll do the same on the right side. So slow and controlled. Extending the leg back, straightening through that left leg. Finding that warrior three, that balance moment. And then slowly, with control, returning one leg chair and then two leg chair. Straighten legs and arms, reach tall. Side bend, exhale. Inhale, center. To the other side, exhale. Inhale, center. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. And step back, downward facing dog, exhale. You choose, maybe those planks and down dogs, maybe planks with a bend in the elbows. Maybe you prefer some cows and cats in table pose. All of that is valid. Anything else you'd like to practice is also valid as long as you're breathing intentionally, paying attention. When you're ready, we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and out. On your inhale, make your way to the top of the mat. And as you exhale, fold. Inhale, rise into chair. And exhale, hands to your heart. Adding on to that. So as you inhale, coming onto the left toes, lifting that left knee, slow and controlled, make your way into that warrior three. And then from here, we're coming into a lunge. So you're bending into your right knee and you're going to land on the ball of that left foot all the way back behind you. As you inhale, reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, bring hands to your heart and bend into your left knee as if you were lowering your knee to the mat, but you're not lowering it all the way. And then on your inhale, arms wide, straighten that left leg, arms overhead. Exhale, hands through heart, bend left knee, hover. Inhale, straighten left knee, arms overhead. Exhale, hands through heart, bend that left knee, and now lower it all the way to the ground. Finding that low lunge. Okay, we're going to move between low lunge and a half split. So you could stay with your hands at your chest, doing it without hands, or you could bring your hands to the ground. We're going to straighten that front leg, send the hips back, and you could even send your sit bone to your heel. It gets a little balancy without the hands. And then come forward on the inhale. Exhale and take it back. Inhale, bring it forward. And last one, exhale, take it back. On your inhale, bring it forward. You're coming back into your high lunge. Arms lift, leg, back knee lifts. And on your exhale, warrior two. Take a moment here. Maybe adjust your feet. Wiggle your fingers. You could turn your palms up, let your shoulders relax. Full breath in and out. Keep your palm, right palm facing up, left palm down, reverse warrior, inhale. And into side angle, exhale. Now on your inhale, straighten that right knee, come through a wide leg stand, so parallel your feet, arms can come overhead. And on your exhale, fold from your hips, forward and down. Hands to shins, to floor, to block, halfway lift, inhale. Fold, exhale. Another inhale, half lift. Fold, exhale. And one more, inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. All right, so from here is where we go towards the back of the mat. So you're going to walk your hands towards your left foot and then pivot, so all 10 toes point forward. And then you're going to shift your left foot back to meet the right. You're in a plank pose. Take a breath in here. And on your exhale, downward facing dog. So you're facing the back of your mat. What was the back of your mat? Take a breath. And another. And then use your next inhale to walk your feet towards your hands. And on your exhale, fold. As you inhale, come into chair pose. And on your exhale, bring hands to your heart. All right, so we're going to do all of that on the other side now. So we're starting facing the back of the mat, and the right knee is going to come into the chest. And then we're going to find that warrior three, slow and controlled, reaching that right foot back, crown of the head forward. And then slowly bend into your left knee, land on the ball of that right foot, and find your lunge, sweeping your arms up overhead. On your exhale, hands through heart, bend into your right knee as if you were lowering that knee all the way down, but you're not. And then inhale, sweep your arms up, straighten the right leg. And then again, exhale, hands through heart, knee hovers. Inhale, knee straightens. And last one, exhale, hands through heart, and now knee lowers all the way down to your mat. Okay. We're finding those half splits and lunges, so hands on blocks can be a great idea here. If not, hands to heart, little balancey, straighten left leg, hips go back. And then bend into left knee, hips come forward. And then again, straighten, take it back. And bend forward. Last one like that, taking it back. And bringing it forward. From here, back knee lifts, arms lift overhead, high lunge. And on your exhale, back heel lowers, warrior two. Nice work. Pause for a moment, wiggle through fingers, your breath. With your next inhale, reverse warrior, left arm up and back. And on your exhale, side angle, right arm by your ear. On your inhale, rise up, straighten left leg, pivot the feet, they're parallel once again, and you're finding your forward fold from your hips, forward and down. Halfway lift on your inhale. Forward fold as you exhale. Another one. And another. Now as you inhale, you're walking your hands towards the right, towards your right foot, what was the top of the mat. And then you're shifting your right foot all the way to meet the left. A plank pose for a breath. And a down dog. Once you get to your down dog, 3 breaths, which you could spend here, or you could lower a table or a child's. Maybe there's an open mouth exhale. And then with your next breath in, walk your feet towards your hands, top of the mat, and fold over your legs. Take a moment here. You could hold on to opposite elbows. And you could sway or you could be in stillness. Usually we can let the head drop a little further. Draw the chin towards your chest and find all that space in the back of your neck. And even let your shoulders also drop towards the floor. Another breath in and out. And then with your next inhale, hands to your hips and unroll your spine as you make your way into mountain pose once again. Let your arms relax down by your side. Give your fingers a little wiggle. Okay. So I thought we'd go through that little sequence one more time. We'll start on the other, hopefully it's not confusing. We'll start on the other side. So I'm just going to switch so that I'm facing the camera the whole time, but you don't need to. It will be the same sequence. Okay. So from your mountain pose, take an inhale, reaching your arms up. As you exhale, side bend. Inhale, come back through center, and exhale to your other side. Inhale, back through center, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. On your inhale, bend the knees, chair pose. And as you exhale, bring hands to heart. Come onto the right tiptoes and then lift that right knee into your chest. As slow as you can, take that right leg back. Find your warrior three. That moment of balance, and then begin to bend into your left knee as you land on the ball of your right foot and find your lunge. Lift your torso, lift your arms. Take a breath in. And then on your exhale, hands to heart, bend into that right knee as you slowly lower it. This time we're lowering it all the way down the first time, and we're going to find that half split. So inhale here, lunge, low lunge, and exhale, hips back, straightening that front leg. On your inhale, come forward, bend into that left knee, lifting that back leg, back knee, arms overhead. High lunge. Exhale, back heel down, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, straighten left leg, pivot, forward fold, wide legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Take your hands to the top of them, towards the left foot. And plank pose. No, towards the right, sorry. And take it into plank, yeah, there we go. Once you're in your plank, take a breath in, maybe a bend of the elbows, straighten, and downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale. When you're ready, take your feet to your hands. Forward fold, exhale. Bend the knees, chair pose, inhale. And bring hands to heart, exhale. This time you're coming onto the left toes, lifting the left knee in towards your chest. Slow and controlled, taking it back. A warrior three. And then a lunge. Lifting those arms overhead, breath in. Exhale, hands through heart as you slowly, with control, lower that back knee to the mat. Find that inhale in your lunge and your exhale as you send your hips back, straightening that right leg. Inhale, come forward. Again, find that high lunge. And on your exhale, warrior two. Inhale to reverse. And exhale to side angle. Inhale, straighten right leg, pivot. Wide leg forward, fold, exhale. Halfway lift on the inhale. Walk your hands to the left and plank pose. Take a breath in. And maybe on your exhale, a bend in the elbows. Straighten, and we're meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhale here. Open mouth, exhale. Another one. And one more. From your down dog, come out into plank. And slow and controlled, we're lowering onto the belly. So you could lower your knees first or not. And then from here, we're going to find locust pose. So bring your arms by your side, your palms facing in. And then begin to squeeze your shoulder blades, lifting the fronts of the shoulders away from the mat. And then begin to reach your toes away from you as you lift your legs any amount. Imagine that your fingers are trying to reach your toes. And you could look forward or you could look straight down. A lot of work for the back line of the body. For another breath in. And then on your exhale, release it. Make a pillow for your forehead. Relax your legs, heels out. Wiggle your hips from side to side. Another breath. We'll do one more. Think about your locust as a way to stretch the front body. Okay, so you've got to contract against gravity, the back body, and lift. So there's a lot of work in the back body, but see if you can think about it as a stretch for the fronts of your hips, your hip flexors. So when you're ready, again, your arms by your side, shoulder blades squeeze, legs lift, glutes squeeze, breath in. Breath out. Another one. And then as you exhale, release. Bring the hands under your shoulders and then come through a neutral spine and table pose. Take a breath there. And then take it into a child's pose. Allow that lower back to round. You could do arms in front of you, or you could do arms by your side or tucked underneath you. Breathing in and out. And another. And last one. From your child's pose, lift your torso. And then come to stand on your knees. So we'll get those knees more or less under the hips, shoulders in line with the hips. And then from here, we're going to lean back. So think about crown of the head to knees as like a plank. Your arms could be by your side, a bit more challenging, or out in front of you. And then we'll lean back without rounding or arching the spine, and then we'll come back up. There you go, nice. And then try it again, and take it back, glutes are engaged, and come up. Tops of the feet pressing down, one more time, take it back. Nice, and back up. All right, swing your feet to one side, and then find a seat. And bring your feet wide and then walk your hands inside the legs. Your knees are bent and forward around the spine. Drop the head. Imagine dropping the outer edges of your armpits towards the floor. Allowing the head to be heavy. And then walk your hands back in, lifting your spine. Bring the hands to your outer hips And then once again, we're going to come back to that movement we did earlier. So we're going to drop the knees towards the left side. And then the right hand is going to come over. Turn your torso any amount towards the space behind you. Now you could stay more lifted with your spine, or you could begin to walk your hands away from your hips. And come maybe onto forearms. And just see where you're at. If you want extra space in the front of the right hip or extra stretch, you could slide your right knee a little bit more towards, away from the left foot. Couple more breaths here. And then walk those hands back in towards you, lifting your spine. And then we'll make our way to the other side. So come back through center. And then your knees are going towards the right. Left hand comes over. You're turning your torso. And then feel free to stay here or walk your hands away from you, lowering the torso a little bit more towards the ground. And then again, a little tweak here if you'd like. That left knee can slide a little further away from that right foot. You might even think about your left heel coming a little closer to your glute if you'd like to. Full breaths. And then when you're ready, coming back, bringing yourself back through center. And then feet together, or actually feet planted but closer together. Your knees are bent and we're coming onto our back bodies. So you could reach your arms out in front and then slow and control. Think about that lower back arriving onto the mat. Then your back ribs and then your shoulder blades. And then the back of your head. And then once that back body is down, bring the right knee into your chest. And take a pause as you squeeze it in. And then cross your right ankle over your left leg, or your left thigh. Figure 4, reclined figure 4. Send your right knee away from you. And now, depending on how you're feeling, you could stay. You could choose the version of figure 4 that gives you a bit more stretch through the backs, through the glutes and the back. So lifting that left foot and drawing the figure 4 into your chest. Or if you're feeling like what you need is more space in the fronts of the hips, you could take this into a bridge pose, into a figure 4 bridge. So I invite you just to see what you need here and give it a try. And then once you're done, release what you have, plant your right foot, and then bring your left knee into your chest. Give that a squeeze. Neutralize that back body against the ground. And then find your figure 4, crossing that left ankle over that right thigh. Option 1, staying here. This is great. Another option is to lift that figure 4 and draw it in towards your chest with hands or without. And then the other option is going for more of a hip flexor stretch, glute work, hamstring work by finding that bridge figure 4. And then when you're ready, gently release what you have. And then bring both knees into your chest, one hand onto each knee, and some gentle circles, knees separate or knees together. And then we'll meet with the soles of the feet together on the ground and the knees going away from one another. You can bring your hands to your lower belly, lower ribs. And if you feel that this is kind of quite a strain for inner thighs, groin area, and you want it to be a little bit more comfortable, find a block or a pillow and place one under each thigh. You might close your eyes. And then notice the breath under your hands, the movement around the rib cage and the belly. And begin to invite more ease into the body. Ease in your breath. Invite ease mentally, emotionally. You might choose to stay in this position for Shavasana as long as it is really easeful. But if not, you might extend your legs out or bring your knees and rest them against one another. Maybe find a little movement through the pelvis, getting that lower back a bit more neutral or more supported by the ground. And for these last minutes of practice, allow your breath to be whatever it is. Allow your body to relax towards the ground. And allow the mind to do whatever it does. If you need something to do, observe. Observe yourself as a whole. Observe with love and compassion. Shavasana. As always, if a longer Shavasana is available, feel free to take it. If not, if you're ready to move, notice your breath and the movement that's already happening as you breathe. And then begin to layer onto that any other movement that feels good, big or small, more subtle, more obvious. And take your time. And eventually we'll meet in a seat. Hands in your lap or hands at your chest. Maybe eyes stay closed for a bit longer. And take this moment to appreciate the practice itself. To appreciate ourselves, our willingness to practice. To appreciate all those who have practiced with us. And to appreciate all those who make it possible. We end with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.